I'm Barry Funkhauser. This is the Barry Funkhauser Show. Well, here's what's going on to start your week off. A cigarette butt has solved a cold case murder of a teacher. Pandemic-era food benefits are set to expire at the end of the month, couple days from now. And a theater chain says shareholders could be wiped out. With me, as always, is General Know-It-All and Current Events Guy, Joe. Hey, good evening, Joey.
I barely made it through this Monday.
I'm sorry.
Man, I don't
power.
Oh, yeah, luckily I have power, so that's, I mean, some people are, where was it, like Pasadena or something, Altadena, someone that hasn't had power in Los Angeles for like 3 days. I can only imagine how awful that is. I'm just a little over the rain. I'm a little over the cold. I'm a little over one of my cats just not shutting up ever. That's the thing that's really getting to me. It's just like, I don't know. My cat just won't stop crying. We can't figure it out. It's just like, it's so needy lately. It does not like the rain. So
That's probably it. It's a heat problem. Turn on the heater. Meow.
it's not. No, I think our one cat is just really, really weird. He's a weird cat, and he just loves chasing shadows. He loves to he's a shadow chaser, and it's just the weirdest thing. Well, it's been overcast and cloudy the last I don't know, month in Los Angeles, so there have not been any shadows for him to chase, and I think he's just sad about it. Anyway, it's causing me and my wife to not sleep at all. So it's been a rough day.
Oh boy. Well,
so many major issues over here. My cat won't let me sleep. Oh no.
Oh,
what's going on?
Yeah. Well, I understand. I mean, I haven't gotten a lot of sleep either because the Sweeties cat was over here on vacation while we were on vacation, and now the door is open and the house. My cat has been floating around, and finding smells from the other cat and just acting a fool.
I know that well.
Yeah, pouncing and stuff. But that's why you have a cat. That's part of it.
They're cute. They're cute and adorable and snuggly most of the time, but man, I just want to sleep. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. So anyway, besides that, what else did I do this weekend? Oh, I bought a bunch of snowboarding gear.
Did you? So you're all in on going up there now that there's snow.
Mountain High got 10 feet of snow this weekend. And you were just in Lake Arrowhead. Lake Arrowhead got so much snow, the entire town is now snowed in.
Oh yeah, Nostra Funkus thought it. I knew it was coming, and that's why we're like, we got to get out of here.
Highway 18 closed. Highway 33 closed. 330 closed. Everything is closed. People were calling in to the local news radio station. Big shout out to KNX. Love you guys. 1070 AM.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
hey, it's 97.1 FM now. It's
97.1
Get with
FM.
the times, man.
That's right. I forgot. I listen on the FM. 97.1 FM, which used to be, Barry,
so many things. I used to work there. I did one.
KLOS, right?
No, KLSX.
KLSX, that's what it was.
The Howard Stern flagship.
That's right. KLOS is.
And then before that, it was KLSX means classics.
Oh,
and
right.
Way back in the day, it was a classic rock station.
Right. Well, anyway, people were calling into KNX from Lake Arrowhead saying, I can't even leave my house because the snow is above the door frame. I am locked into people are literally locked into their houses. They open up the front door and it's just a wall of white. So be glad that you got out when you did.
Oh, believe you me, I did not want to get stuck at Le Fleur de Lac. Let's tell you that.
And it's a really nice place, but man, that would have gotten expensive real quick.
Very quickly. Mm-hmm.
Very quickly. So am I gonna get you up on the mountain with me? Are you gonna do some geotagging while I'm hitting the slopes?
Geocaching.
Geocaching. Sorry, not
I wonder what
geotagging.
geotagging. Geotagging's a whole different thing. I wonder
That's
what
it.
that is.
That's just like, I am here
I
in
am
this
here.
place.
I see.
They're just tagging people. Yeah,
Dropping
but
it again.
geocaching. Sorry,
Yeah.
geocaching is different. So are you going to do that? Are you going to hide some fun things up at Mountain High for people to like go try to find?
No, well, here's what they say about geocaching that we learned is you should, if you are going to be a geocache person that drops things, then you need to be close to the item so that you can steward the item, like take care of it, handle it if it breaks. Because if you're out on, they recommend not putting one at a vacation spot, because if it does, break, you're not close to fixing it. So I guess.
What do you mean? What would break though?
Well, maybe a wild animal will get to it, or the one of the clues, because some of them are very intricate. There's like 3 or 4 of them, and you have to one of them has geo coordinates, and then you have to find the other one. There's levels, so if one of those gets broken and you're 1,000 miles away, that's it. So people.
Well, but again, what is getting broken? I thought it was like you put this thing in like a secure box and you bury it underground and then you're done.
Yeah, well, anything could happen. Somebody could find it and open it up and trash it, or anything could happen to it. You just have to be the the shopkeep of your geocache stuff.
So what you're saying is you're not going to the mountain with me?
No, I'll look for them, dude. I'll go digging for sure. And I have a metal detector now, and I have a fishing magnet. So, and I can't wait to use them. So yeah, you go up on the mountain, and then we'll go beep beep beep, and looking for stuff you drop.
All right,
on the way.
all right. I can totally do. All I know is that next week, after all these storms pass and it's super sunny up there, I am getting some snow. I have not snowboarded since 2018, I think. Ooh, wow, it's been that long. It's been like 5 years. Man, I used to go snowboarding all the time. Like, there was a point in my life, in my mid-20s, late 20s, where I was buying season passes to go snowboard. And you know me, I hate the cold. There's just something about snowboarding that would like get me up out of bed on a Saturday at 5:30 a.m. to get in a car, drive 90 miles to either Mountain High or 120 miles to Big Bear, and then just snowboard all day long. And then just drive home, sleep, wake up on Sunday and drive back up and do it again.
Dude, that's determination. I mean, you're part of a group of people that do that, though. It's just like the people that ride on their quads in the desert. They all do that. It's dedication. Half of the journey is getting there.
Yeah, I agree. There's just something very peaceful, I think, about being up on the mountain. I think one of the things that I really, really enjoy is every now and then you'll get like 5 minutes where you can't see anybody, especially on days where it's not packed. Weekends were always the worst. It's like Disneyland. You go to Disneyland on a weekend and it's capacity. You go to Mountain High or Big Bear on a weekend, it's going to be like tens of thousands of people. It's, an hour to get onto a lift. It's all that stuff. But if you go on like a Wednesday and it's like quarter capacity and you can just like roll onto a lift without any weight, you get up onto the top of the mountain, you ski down, you get about halfway down, and then there's like nobody around you for like 5 minutes. You can't see anyone in front of you. No one's coming out from behind you. It's just you and the mountain and this just incredible view and just serene quiet.
Yeah. You know where I can get that? That's a great description. And you know where I can get that without being freezing? I can tell you, I watched the GoPro sample video and almost feel the same way.
It's not the same. Come on.
Depending on how close I am to the television, it might be.
No, come on. You got to, there's something out there in nature where it's just like nice, like when you and the sweetie like go on a short hike or something and there's like nobody around, or you're like on a desolate beach somewhere and you can't see anybody, which is hard to do in Southern California, but it happens sometimes. Don't you like that? Don't you like going out into the desert? Like, that's one of the reasons why I love the desert. You can just go out there.
Yep, open hands.
Man, it's just there's this one time when Linda and I were driving on the 40 coming back from the Grand Canyon, and we took this little detour. There's a little spot of Route 66 out there that you can take, and it has like all the old like highway stops and gas stations all in that like retro 70s, 60s, 70s style with like the big neon lights. You can take these little detours on the old Route 66. Well, if you get out there, sometimes you could just get out. Like, we stopped the car literally in the middle of the freeway. I got out. We took pictures for like 10 minutes. You can get out to certain places in the United States and there's nobody, no other humans around for hundreds of miles. There's something really crazy cool about that, especially when you live in the city and there's just millions of people around. Just getting out to where there's nobody it's interesting. So yeah, I bought all my snowboarding gear, new snowboarding gear this past weekend. We're going up next week, Barry.
Okay, it's about to be on. All right, then. All right, well, let's get into the news for today, shall we? Well, police in Vermont say DNA evidence from a discarded cigarette helped solve a 1971 murder. Listen to this.
This morning, a cold case solved in Burlington, Vermont, more than 50 years later.
For 50 years, they have waited for justice. Rita's parents died waiting for it.
Police now know who killed 24-year-old Rita Curran back in 1971. The young teacher was murdered just 2 weeks after moving out of her parents' home into an apartment. Curran died by strangulation, police finding a cigarette butt near her body.
It was a Lark cigarette butt, and that's all they had. It was just a brand name, but they collected it anyway, not knowing what DNA was going to be for another 15 years.
DNA testing did not exist then, but police retested that cigarette in 2014. They used ancestry information and public records to ultimately link the crime to a man named William DeRoos who lived upstairs.
I don't think so much about the guy who did this as I do about Rita and my parents, what they went through.
DeRoos was questioned after the murder. Officials say even though he left home after an argument with his wife and she believed he was just out to smoke a cigarette, he told her to be his alibi.
She was to tell him that he was home all night because he had a criminal history, and if they knew he was out, they would come after him for this.
The case unsolved for decades until now, thanks to how meticulous investigators were back then.
They actually collected a lot of stuff, way ahead of their time.
Curran's family finally getting closure.
This is our case, and this is our sister, and she's always with us. We now have 2 generations in our family that never knew her.
Police say after the murder, DeRoos fled to Thailand and became a Buddhist monk, but eventually moved to San Francisco. He died there of a drug overdose in 1986. The family credits a grant for helping cover the expensive DNA testing and genealogy that ultimately solved this case.
Now, Joe, you know, we usually don't cover death or destruction on the show, but
this is a true crime story.
That's right.
I mean,
and
true crime.
So much science is involved in this, and it's such a baffling case to be solved so many years later. Isn't it fascinating how far we've come with technology and bio?
Well, I think there's a lot of forethought that went into the investigators just collecting every single last piece of evidence. They didn't they didn't know. They didn't know DNA was going to be a thing. They were just like, hey, just in case, let's take everything. Everything. Cigarette butt on the ground over there. Yep, take it. We don't know what's on there. We don't know what's going to happen. Let's just make sure that we're really, really thorough. And that is great. That's the differentiator in this case. What if it would have been a cold case forever if they were just like, cigarette butt? Nah, throw it away. That's just trash. Is anything ever trash in a crime investigation? No, nothing is ever trash. I have watched so many true crime documentaries that I know that you can't discount anything at all.
Well, you know, you never hear about good police work. You know, you rarely hear when police do good, and this is an example, I think, of good police work. Don't you think?
Oh, I think so too. And you brought up technology. Think about the good that these quote unquote AI models can do. You know, because they're not actually artificial intelligence. They're large language machine learning. That's what this is. But they you know, these algorithms and these programs can like find connections that might otherwise be distorted, or they might have been hidden from the human mind. You know, there's a lot of things in there, you know, in true crime that we might not solve. But what if we were to take one of these learning model algorithmic computer programs, then pop in all of the true crime stuff, and I got all this evidence and blah blah blah, and here are all the suspects and all these people, and then you let the AI computer model like spit out like, hey, have you thought about this person as a possible suspect? Have you thought about this person as a possible suspect? I think that we're going to see some of these AI programs being used to solve cold cases. Tell me that's not some cool technology.
You know, Joe, listen, about AI, artificial intelligence, I don't have 12 hours to talk about it because it is so vast. The learning that you as a human have to figure out about AI. I'm guessing that you watched Last Week Tonight over the weekend because they covered it.
Well, you know, no, actually, I missed that John Oliver episode. But I have read, just because it's kind of like connected to my industry of marketing and promotions and social media and tech. I've read, you know, quite a bit about these new platforms and how they work. And it's interesting, but I like to make sure people know that these machines and these programs aren't actually intelligence. They're not actually formulating decisions by themselves. All they're doing they're taking all these complex pieces and they're just putting in what should go next based on the algorithm. Like all of like Chat GPT, it's not formulating its own opinions and making sentences. It's taking all of this vast trove of data and then figuring out in a sentence that says Johnny went to the. Well, what's the object of that sentence? Well, we can put based on all these millions of data points that we have, we can say that Johnny went to the store, school, work, you know, stuff like that. It just like figures out like, oh, that would logically follow this string of words. It's not actually making it's not making that determination itself. It's just like, this block here fits into this block here, so I'm going to pop it in. That's all it is.
The more you discuss AI, the more I want to go plant seeds in the backyard.
It's fine. Well, it's important to know.
Before a robot takes that job from me too.
Well, that's going to happen. Well, you can always plant. You don't need a robot to plant it for you. You can always do it yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
But yes, robots are coming for everybody's job. Everybody's job, indeed.
All right. Well, today's show is brought to you by.
Today's show is brought to you by the robots. The Canine Adoption and Rescue League, saving all breeds in Southern California since 1996. Adopt, volunteer, and donate at carldogs.org.
All right, more news. The federal government is set to end pandemic-era payments, and nearly 30 million Americans across the country will have to experience a significant cut in their monthly food stamp benefits. Listen to this.
Tonight, nearly 30 million Americans across the country now bracing for a significant cut in their monthly food stamp benefits. In just days, the federal government ending pandemic-era payments for low-income families on the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. The expiration date set for March 1st. For the average recipient, it means about $95 less a month for groceries. For others, much more. like the Hardy family of 4 in Marshfield, Wisconsin, whose benefits will shrink from $950 to $200 a month.
We're really going to struggle. We're going to have to end up going back to cheaper, noodles, processed stuff, because the meat, the dairy, fruits and veggies, it's expensive.
18 states have already ended the temporary boost to SNAP benefits. It comes as inflation continues to surge and wages fail to keep up with rising prices for gas, rent, and food, up more than 10% in the past year. A gallon of milk averaging $4.20, up from $3.67 a year ago. Food pantries trying to meet the rising demand. The Atlanta Community Food Bank seeing a 30% increase in visits since Georgia ended benefits in May.
Many of those folks are accessing our network for the first time in their lives.
Deanna Hardy worries about the future.
The prices keep going the way they're going, and we can't even make it work now. What is it going to be like 6 months from now?
That's a question many people are asking tonight, some appealing to their states to close the gap in federal funding. So far, only New Jersey has agreed to extend those extra SNAP benefits.
I mean, Joe, isn't now the time to have those benefits in place since we're going into a recession? This doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either. They want people to eat healthfully, but they're like, you're on your own. Sorry, we can't help you with this inflation. So you can.
I'll be honest with you.
Bread and stuff.
I'll be honest with you. In the beginning of it, when I lost a couple of jobs and had to move back home, I joined SNAP. I was eligible for it, and it's tedious to continue that. Like every 6 weeks, you got to get on the phone with somebody. But I used it at the farmers market exclusively because they give you like 2 to 1 when you use SNAP, and it's like, man, I ate so well for almost no government money, and it's like for them to take it away, it's like. It's like now we need it.
Yeah, I feel like the sad thing is I feel like a lot of our legislators still have this kind of like 1980s welfare queen Reagan-esque type of mindset about who is on SNAP, who utilizes SNAP, who utilizes Medicare or Medicaid, things like that. It's not. Most of the people on these assistance programs are working 40 hours a week, and sometimes it's like that family in Wisconsin that was interviewed. Both of those parents, 40 hours a week. They still can't make enough money working 40 hours a week, a little bit above minimum wage, and they can't make ends meet, and they're on SNAP.
Yeah.
So it speaks to a lot of the income inequality issues we have in this country when two adults together, both working 40 hours a week, can't pay for rent, food, and utilities. That sucks. That's not the kind of country I want to continue to live in.
Well, not here in California. You can elsewhere. So, there's a big old neon sign that says move to New Mexico. Something.
Why would anyone want to move to New Mexico? New Mexico has no. Okay, New Mexico gets the most federal funds of any state in the union. There is nothing there. There is no work. Well, no, seriously.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
New
what
Mexico
about Amazon? Didn't Amazon and Walmart move in there? And aren't they the two biggest employers or something? That's what's baffling is when you look at these states.
Like, for what? Like, who is Amazon's not going to? Why would Amazon? I mean, they might have a distribution warehouse in New Mexico that services New Mexico, but outside of Albuquerque and Santa Fe, New Mexico is just desert and mountains. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's really cool there. It's fun to walk around, but there are no jobs there. There are no jobs. You have some government jobs down in Area 51, 41, whatever, where the aliens live. Ron DeSantis likes to go there and check out all the aliens. So they have that stuff, but there's not a lot of industry in New Mexico. They don't do a whole lot of there's not a whole lot of jobs in cattle ranching there anymore. They don't have a lot of farming because they don't have a whole lot of great farmland there. They don't have a whole lot of water there. So moving to New Mexico is not a great idea. Where are you going to find work? That's the thing. And where are you going to find services? They have a whole lot of issues with that too. So I agree. We need to continue with SNAP. We got to figure some stuff out, or people are just going to. Do we want more homeless people out there on the streets? Do we want more people who are malnourished? Do we want these kids especially? Why are we putting all of this onus on the kids? They didn't do anything. They just got born. But now because their parents are struggling, we can't let these kids eat. I don't. It's just like so backward to me that we don't want to give our next generations the best possible start to life. These are the people that are going to be, hopefully governing our country in the next 20, 30 years. At that point, I'm going to be retired, and I'm going to be looking at someone to make sure that my Social Security and Medicare are still
Good luck with that.
Hey, good luck with that. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. I think they need to figure out this SNAP thing. We got to cover these people, especially the kids. Come on. Got to help the kids.
Right. I'm gonna agree, Joe. I'm gonna go ahead and agree. All right, and finally, Cineworld, the bankrupt owner of Regal Cinemas, said that shareholders may lose all of their money regardless of any recovery plan for the company. Bummer news, man. Listen.
Cineworld, that's the parent company of Regal Cinemas, and they're closing down a whole bunch of cinemas here in the Southland and throughout the country. Cineworld itself is bankrupt, and it issued a regulatory filing today warning shareholders, hey, guess what? You're probably never going to see your money again. Let's look at the exact wording of this thing. What they told shareholders was, it is not expected that any sale transaction will provide any recovery for the holders of the company's equity interest. Translation there, if you've lost money on our stock, you're probably never going to see it again. And Cineworld stock, wait for it, down 98% over the last 2 years. So if you've taken a bath on this, you're probably not going to dry off for quite some time. Now that's bad enough, but it's also a shot across the bow of all movie theater chains, because how do you maintain a sustainable business model at a time of not just economic uncertainty, but also growing acceptance of streaming services and home entertainment? It's making the movie theater business all the more untenable. I have a suggestion, because I'm here to help, and that is a sliding scale for ticket prices. In other words, yeah, that $15 or so for the big movies, but for less popular or poorly reviewed movies, a lower price, $8, $9, whatever. Or put it another way, would I pay $15 to go see Avatar? Yeah, probably. Would I pay $15 to go see Cocaine Bear? Nah, I'd probably wait to see that on HBO. And that's the whole story right there.
Well, Joe,
smart man right there. That's a smart man. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you think it's over for the movie? It keeps on sitting there on the cliff of being over, but this thing is like once you piss off your shareholders, I think that's it, man.
I mean, I think
they're all going to be Korean churches now.
No, that's only in downtown Los Angeles, my friend.
No, okay.
Outside of that, they become like DSWs or shoe warehouses.
Yeah.
We all know that the movie industry is changing, and it's going to continue to change. I feel personally that there is always going to be a audience for really large, action-packed, blockbuster-type movies. Those are the fun ones to see in the theater. You're going to want to go see your Marvels and your Star Warses and your Star Treks, especially for Chase. He's going to want to go see Star Trek.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually.
Well, it's lucky for him because in Vegas you have like the high-end movie theaters where you get all pampered,
Oh, well, sure. But there's going to be there is an audience for those big movies. But the smaller movies, yeah, those are the ones that have really been getting hammered. The dramas, the dialogue driven kind of thrillers, those types of movies that can translate better to the small screen, to your television at home. Yeah, those are the things. what this economist said, the sliding scale idea, really good. Isn't AMC already doing something along those lines where like the ticket prices fluctuate for the better seats? You know, you pay $20 for the seat right in the middle, you pay $10 for the seat right in the front, kind of thing. That's what we're gonna see. And I think we are going to see like a really large pullback in the amount of movie theaters out there. But I think that there's going to be an opportunity for like a oh gosh, what's the big one in Texas? Was it Texas Roadhouse movies, something like that?
Alamo,
that's the one. So those types of theaters, the 4D
the fancy
theaters, the fancy theaters, the ones that are
going to beer.
The ones that have waiter and waitress service inside the theater, where you just press a button, you're like, "Hey, I'd like another beer."
I wonder, I've never been to one of those before, but I wonder if a beer and dinner costs more or less than it would be like popcorn and soda at the other one, because popcorn and soda is now like $36 or something for
okay, well people going to the expensive movie, we're a little bit more savvy. We will pay a little bit more for a beer, but you're not paying $25 for a beer.
Sure, you're getting your money's worth.
You're getting a little bit more of your money's worth than the $10 for a tub of popcorn that costs 15 cents to make.
Come on.
You're doing a little bit better than that. But I think that it's going to be like the smaller indies and the real high end type of movie theaters that are going to be more successful. Like a mom and pop every now and then in a place like Los Angeles, they're going to say like, "Hey, you know what? I have the funds and I have a great idea. I'm going to take the what used to be the ArcLight over at Sherman Oaks or the Cinerama Dome over in Hollywood, and I'm going to do something awesome with it. And this is what I'm going to do. We're still going to have movies, but we're going to do other events. We're going to make the movie going experience luxurious again." But are we ever going to have it where it was like in the 80s? Probably the 80s and 90s were probably the heyday of the movie theater. And every single mall had a movie theater anchor. We're never going to see that again.
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
We are way still right now to this point, even after the pandemic, we still have way too many physical movie theaters.
Yeah, I think the creative movie theater owners will win this one. And you just got to think way out of the box and do things that people like to get them back in there, not overcharging and picking a seat for that costs more. That's not going to bring people there. What's going to bring people there is entertainment and fun and enjoyment. So let's figure out how to do that on a budget for the company or something, so you guys can make some money. We're not talking about popcorn and soda here. We need some other things to get us back there. I need comfort.
Exactly, because you are definitely fighting the convenience factor of home. I do like going to a theater. I was a huge fan of ArcLight because it was clean. The people were nice. It was an upscale experience. I felt like I was a valued customer when I went there, and I wasn't, it wasn't like going to the old crappy AMC down the street where it looks like they haven't vacuumed the floor in 3 years. I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking to spend $20 and then sit in filth for 2.5 hours with a blown speaker on my left shoulder. No, I'm not looking for that. If I'm spending money, I want a quality experience. That's what we're gonna get. But we're gonna see a whole lot less of those.
That's right.
Because when I can sit at home and pause and go to the bathroom or grab a drink, do literally whatever I want, whenever I want, that is what movie theaters are up against now.
Yeah, they have to be just slightly more entertaining than this program, and then justifiable for. Because if we're just as good as going to the movies, man, there's something wrong with the movies, I would think.
I agree.
All right. On that note, we'll be back tomorrow for another show. This is the Barry Funkhauser Show.